Hello, good evening, or good morning, wherever you're from right now. Today, I would like to address a particular topic which has been, doing its rounds for a long time, and it is about the business of spirituality. When I talk about the business of spirituality, it is just like any other business. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way we want to look at it, just like everything else, spirituality has also become a business of sorts. And I wouldn't say that's a bad thing. I would say that we all need to survive here. And as psychics, as gifted people, as spiritual guides, anyone who takes the time to go out there and use their gifts to help people, it all starts out with different intentions. I wouldn't say that every one of us who is gifted and who is doing service to heal and to help predict and do a lot of things with their gifts to serve mankind are in it for money. But I would say that money is a tool and it's used for survival in this plane, and therefore it is not something negative. Unlike some people who say, well, it's a gift. Why would you charge for a gift? Why would I have to pay a psychic? Why would I have to pay a healer? Because it's a gift. Now, the whole concept of it being a gift has been misunderstood by many. It has left many gifted people who genuinely want to do something with their gifts confused, worried, guilty, and feeling ashamed. They hesitate to take this forward because they are struggling with time to balance between having to survive here as a person, to work, and then to also, possibly go out there and help people with their gifts. Now, the thing is that we have to understand, people would always have something to say. This dimension has always been about ego and about how to have something to talk about at any point of time, about anything and everything. Today I would like to share some of my experiences based on the business of spirituality. Like everyone else, though I started out very young, I would say that I never really started out like others. So it wouldn't, when I compare to others, I would say that I don't know how many people would have had the awareness and the kind of gifts that I had, where I was able to actually at the age of 2 and 3 be able to see spirits and the other dimensions as clearly as I saw people who are alive in this world and everything that we see and feel here in this world. So I cannot compare myself to others, but I can share my experiences to help you understand that when you are gifted, it is a journey. It is a part of an evolution of your soul in this incarnation. When you are gifted, you have to first understand your gifts. Now that takes time itself to understand your gifts. What are these things? What am I feeling? What am I experiencing? What is this thing? What am I supposed to do with it? Are others having these same experiences? Is it natural? Now at the age of 2 and 3, I didn't understand any of that. I just knew what I experienced. And the only people I could ask or compare with was with people in my home. And my parents couldn't see what I was seeing. My parents couldn't hear what I was hearing. So for a while, the confusion was in me, in my life, a part of my life all the way. But along the way, I figured out that there was nothing wrong with me. And I also figured out that there's nothing wrong with others too. But I felt that people always felt something was wrong with me. And until someone actually came and told me, look, I'm not able to see any of the things that you see. I'm not able to hear anything that you hear. So I think you're abnormal. I think there's something wrong with you. Unless that happened, unless I experienced or come across someone who says that, I didn't even feel the need to compare myself to others. But at the same time, I have always been raised as a very independent individual who I have a lot of confidence in myself, believe in myself. So I would tell them, well, I'm sorry that you can't see or feel what I do. But that doesn't make me any different from you. That doesn't make me any better or worse. So I grew up with that attitude, and I think that attitude really helped. But what I would like to say is, when it came to a point where I had to step into real life, I had to study, I had to work, I had to set my spiritual experiences aside. I had to jump into reality like we all do, because it became a part of life. It became a part of survival here, just like any one of us. So it wasn't as if I ignored my gifts, but for a while what I did was set it aside so I could survive like anyone else. But the urge to always do something about my gifts was just as there as much as it is for a lot of people now. It was there. The only thing is, I was constantly under the pressure from my spirit guides, my guardian angels, ascended masters. I was under constant pressure. There was always something that would cross my path, constantly reminding me that I had something more to do. So I would, at some point in time, I would, listen to them, and then I would try to see why or how I can fit spirituality into my life. And for a long time, I couldn't do it well enough, because my time was, I would say I was always busy. I couldn't fit in more time. So I started small. And back 20 years ago, we didn't really have the internet. But I had people around me. I knew people who would listen to me if I spoke to them, if I told them certain things. And I started small because I wasn't so confident about using my gifts for others. I knew I had these gifts. I knew that I had answers, because whenever I wanted an answer for myself, I did get it, and I was pretty sure they were right. And I knew who was telling me those answers, because I would be able to see my guides. When they spoke to me, it was a regular conversation like I would have with one of you were sitting in front of me. So it was real. It has always been real. It will always be real for me. So what it was difficult for me to implement that for others, to help others. But I took baby steps. And back then I didn't think about money. I didn't know that I was even able to be paid for this someday. I didn't even think so. But for 20 years, I grew gradually. See, there is no model to follow. The other day, my PR manager was telling me, you didn't have a model to follow. You're on a league of your own. So this is a lonely journey. Yes, it pretty much has been a very lonely journey for 20 years. Because I didn't have anyone to look up to. It was always just me and my guides, my guardian angel. The support was always coming from the other side. There was no other person to talk to about this. I didn't get the support that I have now from my family and friends that I did back then. I didn't have the support that I have now back then. So it was always just me. I figured this out little by little, one day at a time. So when people look at me today and they see this, whatever they see, whatever their perception of me is, it's because I grew day by day. Every little step mattered for me. There was pain, there was tears, there was frustration. Every emotion you can describe was in it, and still is. There's tremendous pressure. It doesn't get easier. So the whole thing about this just being a gift, and why do you even charge for this? It's not a question that is posed to me alone, but I believe a lot of people who are gifted and they're struggling with maybe 2 or 3 jobs, and then they try to fit in spirituality and they try to put in more time and effort because they constantly have that urge to do something with their gifts. It is a calling. If God wanted all his gifted people who are supposed to serve mankind to just sit there without doing anything else, he would plant a money tree in their backyard. There's no money tree. We have to work for it. We have to work for it. Every single one of us. So this became a business, which the spiritual community didn't agree to. Not all of them agreed. There's still always a controversial topic about should psychics, should readers, should healers charge at all because it's a gift. Well, we don't charge for the gifts. I don't think people would want to come forward and charge for the gifts. If you're a psychic, you're not charging for your gifts. You're charging for the energy that you put forward. Because it is draining to sit out there and read for someone. You are using your energy. You are channeling something out of this dimension. That takes effort. If people are just opening their mouths, you go someplace, motivational speakers, blah, 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 they sit for hours and talk, that we're almost doing twice the amount of job. When you're trying to channel, your energy is linking to something else out there in another frequency, and that takes effort, that takes energy. And your time. I put in an hour for every reading, sometimes more. That hour is precious for me because I have a family. People have jobs, people have families. Just because you're a reader, it does not mean that you don't have something to do with your life. Right? So you're basically asking to be paid for time and energy. That is what everyone would want to pretty much ask for once they find out that they're confident enough to move ahead with their spiritual work and they want to do more and more. But like everything else, it's a business. Once you take it seriously, it becomes a part of you. I was working. I had a child. And then I had my spiritual work. I had to balance between 3 things for more than 10 years before I got to where I am today. It's a lot of hard work. A lot of issues, health issues. You'll fall sick half the time. You're too tired half the time. You're too stressed half the time. You have to go through tremendous amount of effort to finally, one fine day you realize that your spiritual work is recognized and people start appreciating you. You're able to hone your skills, hone your gifts, to work on your gifts, and the gifts are really, really thorough with them like you would if you were working someplace and you've had about 15 or 20 years of experience. Then you are confident enough to take it into, the front, push it to the front. Then I quit my job. Then I got out of the family business. But I was sure I would get here, you see, but it's not just about waiting for the money to come along. I eat, breathe, and live this, not for money. But it has to be a part of it, isn't it? If I am to sit here for 16 hours a day and not make a single dollar out of it, how long can one go on like that? So don't feel guilty. If you're aware of your psychic, don't feel guilty about asking to be paid for the time and energy that you put forward in a reading or a healing. When someone is sick, they go to a doctor. That doctor had to study for years and years. He is qualified. So he wants to be paid. If you are a very gifted person and you've put in years of effort into your gift, Why are you embarrassed to ask for money? Unless you're new into this, then there is another category of healers who are going around and psychics who are going around. They see a few people online doing, these readings. I've even had a few people approach me. They want to know how many readings I do a day. Never mind the energy, they want to know how I make money. I said, well, I had to put back-breaking work into it. I still do. And of course, there is something called building a trust, just like in any business, just like in any work. People have to trust you. And the trust here is not based on just experience alone. It is how you put yourself out there. There's a lot of things that go into it. So it's not an overnight thing. It can never be an overnight thing. I don't know why the misconception that it could be easier to become a psychic than possibly any other job out there. It is not. Definitely not. All the really successful people who are psychics, they've had to work. They've had to put in a lot of effort and time into whatever they're doing. Sometimes it becomes harder to be on the same level as you are after a certain point of time because you are doing a lot more. I started out as a psychic and reader, a healer, 20 years ago. But today I cannot say the same thing. I do have live sessions. I do a lot of other work. I do offer healing, But the thing is that is not all I do. I do a lot more other stuff. I do a lot of projects. Because you move, you move on. For me, my intention is to empower others. Revolution of Light is not about me. That is why I'm not focusing on just me. I do offer readings because I still have my gifts. And I want to be able to reach out to people who really need help. At the end of the day, that is also very important. But that is not all I want to do. My purpose is to empower each one of you to help you explore and understand yourself and your gifts so that you'll be able to pass it forward, serve mankind, serve the future generations. That is our collective mission. As souls on this plane, that is our collective mission. But as an individual, with my gifts, I also serve through my healing work, through my readings, spiritual guidance. And I would say that my humble request is basically that if you are looking at a career as a reader, as a psychic, as a spiritual guide, I would suggest that you put in as much effort, commitment, passion into this as you would with a conventional job, career, aspiration, dream that you have. God has gifted each one of us these gifts. As according to your evolution, you shall be led. When you are ready, the path will open. We are all equal. It is about how you respect yourself, how you respect your gifts. Every one of us has our own journey. It is our duty to respect that journey. You have to give in a lot of self-respect and love to make things work for you. So spirituality as a business, and how successful can I be at this? It's not even a question that is, I would say, logical. Because spirituality was never a business. Spirituality is a passion, a mission, a state of being. It is a common give. All these gifts, we've always had these gifts as people. As souls, we've had these gifts. It is as common on the other side to be able to read someone or to be able to send someone with your third eye as it is for each one of us to cough and sneeze here. It is. But over here, what we're learning to do is to remember how to use these gifts that our souls have, to remember how to use them and apply them here in this dimension. That is all we are learning to do. Application. Every one of these gifts, we have been using them for survival in this dimension as well. The third eye, the intuition, the clairaudience, we have been using all these gifts. We just don't realize it. If we don't have any one of these gifts today, our lives will be meaningless, practically meaningless. And I can guarantee you that. If your third eye isn't working right now, your life is meaningless. All you have to do is use that third eye to trust and set your ego aside and trust the fact that you can use it for spiritual purposes. You need to know the way your third eye functions. That way, everything is working already in you. It has to work. Your soul is constantly putting out these senses of yours as gifts, which need to help you to survive here as well. And the point is, you have to just remember how to apply them for the real purpose that it was meant to be. So that is all I wanted to say today. That spirituality is a business if you look at it as someone who wants to take it further, because for me, I was constantly driven. I was constantly driven to do this. And it has been a very exhausting process, but it was everything that I wanted and I would always want. So no one is stopping you from becoming anything you want in your life. No one will. If you think you want to make a full-time living out of your gifts, you will have to put in just as much effort. No one is stopping you. And you don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to worry about whether people would pay you for your gifts. The ones who really appreciate it will. God will lead you. It is His mission, not just yours. When you are out here to do His work, to do work for the Ascended Masters, to do work for the higher missions, higher dimensions, you will be led to people who will appreciate you just as you would be appreciated. But those who don't, well, you have to learn how to manage. You will learn how to deal with it. There are all kinds of people in this world. It's a part of survival. It's a part of getting to know how to manage your way around all kinds of people. I still have people who don't like my work. I have people who have a lot of things to say negatively, but that doesn't affect me because I am only focused on those who really care to listen, to share with me, to help, to listen to me when I share my experiences. That is all I care about. If I am making a difference in one person's life out of the hundreds and thousands that I meet every day, that is all I need. Because I give all the credit to God. None of this is mine. I give all the credit to God. And all that matters for me at the end of the day is that I've made a difference. Because at the end of the day, I just want every single person, I want to be remembered as someone who never lets anyone go without making them feel better about themselves. That is how I would like to be remembered. So I hope that I've made some difference today with this message in some way. And I would like to bless you, give you all the light and love I can. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say I want to bless you. I don't think I have the authority to bless you. But I would pray that God blesses you. And I pray that His light would always shine down on you, each one of you, no matter where you are. Namaste.